Hi, I'm Kerry from Discover Inclusion.
And I'm Anne from Phonics for SEN.
Welcome to the launch of our Rainbow Thinkers, which is part of our Rainbow Literacy Suite.
Rainbow Literacy is made up of our readers that explore teaching all aspects of reading, focused around a decodable book.
The Rainbow Speakers focus on developing good oral language structure.
And the writers scaffold writing stories matched to a basic phonics progression.
The Rainbow Thinkers are specifically for pre- and non-verbal pupils. They include access strategies and accompanying resources. They expand the background knowledge for your pupils, are based around decodable readers, include engaging stories, and are matched to sets 1 to 7 of the phonics basic code. They also have incredibly diverse and interesting illustrations.
The Rainbow Thinkers come with pre-made resources related to key access strategies that support pre- and non-verbal learners to engage with phonics. Firstly, there's the thinking voice strategy that encourages children who are non-verbal to carry out all the phonics activities that their peers are doing out loud in their head. Secondly, there's a number of strategies that relate directly to phonics activities. There are also strategies that enable our pupils to tell us how they feel or what they need. So we have the I have something to say card and matching symbols, so they can tell us what they need in the course of a lesson. Finally, there's a resource that can be used as a visual timetable and also as a handy prompt to review or retrieve learning. These strategies are taken from my Access to Phonics books that looks at enabling learners with a wider range of needs to access phonics and includes more strategies.
The thinkers contain a variety of activities, including 3 decodable books for each of the 7 sets in basic alphabetical code. The first being the Read It, Choose It books. Pupils read a word and choose the matching illustration. The second type is the Reading Detectives, where pupils read a word or phrase, turn the page, and check the picture matches with what they've read. The final book at each level is a decodable story, following the adventures of Sap, the world-famous snake detective. Each decodable SAP book is supported by fact files that explore the background of the story. Additionally, there is a picture and word or phrase matching activity for each set.
Kerry is the creative force behind all our books and is responsible for the wonderful illustrations. I'm going to hand over to her now.
So we're going to take a look at one of my illustrations. This is when I was creating Sap, the famous snake detective. Of course, we have to introduce it. So I always start just by doing a really basic outline, but I usually end up changing all the directions as I'm trying to work out how snakes move.
So are you working on a special tablet, or are you doing this just using the computer mouse? How are you actually doing these illustrations, Kerry?
So I have a tablet that connects to my computer. So I draw on the tablet whilst looking at the screen. So the tablet doesn't have a screen on it. It's a bit like a mouse pad, but using a pen. This is cool because there's a circle feature in the app so that I don't have to try and draw a perfect circle.
Well, this is all amazing as the least creative of the team. It's marvelous to see all of this coming together.
I think what I find most difficult when I've been illustrating Sap throughout the series is when his body twists. You have to change what the direction of where the colours are, which colour is on the top and which colour is on the bottom. Which you can't see in this one, but later in the books, it becomes quite difficult. I tend to keep it really simple and I just fill all the colour in because I know I'm going to have to replicate the pictures quite a lot of times through the stories. So I try not to put too much shading and kind of different elements into the drawings.
But it's amazing how you get personality coming out, even though you just said, oh, I keep them simple because I've got to replicate them. But actually, Sap's coming out as quite a big personality already.
Well, I think Sap's hats are probably my most favourite. Me and my partner had a lot of discussions over what clothes a snake could wear and wouldn't fall off of them. So that's where Sap's hats came from. But there you go. That's one of my drawings.
And wonderful Sap is, thank you.
So I think there's probably a couple of questions that people have got. So I'm just going to start by asking, how do I start implementing these resources in my classroom?
For me, it's really important that you're introducing some new strategies to the children potentially. So for me, it's really important that you don't just introduce them, if you like, cold straight into that phonics activity, because it's too much for children to cope with. So I thoroughly recommend introducing the strategies first and separately in a sort of fun or soft activity. And once it's really clear that they're confident using the strategy and they feel comfortable with it and they understand how it works, then of course you can then start to use it in the context of the Rainbow Thinkers resources. And the work is matched to that set 1 to 7 fairly common phonics progression for early instruction. So for me, it can be incorporated into lots of phonics programs.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
And a question for you, Kerry, because although I described you earlier as the creative force, I very much want to acknowledge that you had a massive impact on creating the stories themselves. And actually, I feel the stories are quite challenging in terms of subject and content. We take the children all over the place. They go to pyramids, they visit a maze, we go to museums. So was that a conscious decision to expand, if you like, the remit of those books? And if so, why?
Yeah, it definitely was a conscious decision. I think we wanted to broaden the child's reading, taking them to lots of different locations, exploring the experiences, and going to places that maybe they've not been able to themselves. And we wanted the continuity of an interesting character throughout the decodable stories, which Sap, being a detective, problem solving alongside the reader, definitely gave us.
So all that remains to be said is head over to the Discover Inclusion website and get a copy of Thinkers now. You'll find a link to the Discover Inclusion website in the description of the video.
If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to email us, either myself on info@discoverinclusion.co.uk or Anne on annesullivaneducation@gmail.com. Thanks for watching.